wanted to give some thoughtful comments about what Mark has done, what Mark means to the community, and what Mark means to me. And then 5 minutes before this event, Mark said, "You have permission to roast me." And I thought, where was this information a week ago? So we'll see where the wind takes us tonight, okay? I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about Mark's accomplishments, and that's for two reasons. I think we all know about them, but we would also be here all night if we did. I do want to talk a little bit about, I think, a few of the things that are near and dear to Mark's heart, and probably what best exemplify what Mark really means to this community and who he really is. First off, we all know that he's a dedicated member to the RCBA. He's been a member for years. He gives a lot of his time to this organization, and I think that this organization is much better with him in it. And so I know that this organization means a lot to him, and everything that this organization has given to him, he's really tried to give back. Next is, I think, something that maybe not a lot of people know about, but if you work in the Riverside BBK office, you know everything about it. It's the ELVS program through the RCBA. But what you don't know is what Mark does for that ELVS program. Every year when it comes out, he rallies people to donate their money and to donate their time. He spearheads this organization within our office and gives his time, sets up raffle prizes for people that donate their time to rap, to shop, to be delivery elves, and to donate money. This is all stuff that he takes out of his own pocket to motivate the people around him to give. And I have to tell you that the office responds very well to that. I think as a direct result of Mark's efforts, he has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years for the ELVS program and been directly responsible for thousands of hours of volunteer time for that organization. It's something that means a lot to him, and I think that he really should be recognized for that involvement. It's something that's very important to him. I do want to say that Mark's health took him out of that this year, and in response, the Riverside office for BBK rallied around him and really tried to step up its efforts in volunteering its time, because we knew how much that meant to him, and because he couldn't participate in this past year, we knew that he'd be very, very happy with knowing that that tradition got carried on. But I know that that's something that means a lot to him. The other thing I think that exemplifies what Mark means to this community is his dedication to the Riverside Mock Trial Program, which is currently in full force in competition right now. So many of you are probably scoring attorneys, judges, coaches, whatever it may be. Mark's been involved with this program for as long as I've known him. In fact, one of the ways I got to know Mark is about 3 months into me being an attorney at BBK. He said, "Guess what you're doing?" And I said, "Oh, what's that?" And he says, "You're going to coach a mock trial team with me." Sounds like fun. He failed to explain to me that that was 3 to 4 nights a week of practice, including Saturdays, competition, and so forth. But I will tell you, for anyone that's been involved in that program, it really does help young attorneys get to know evidence, get to know, there's nothing like teaching here, or getting to know hearsay by teaching it to high school students. But Mark has been involved with that program for a lot of years, and it's something that he gives back. He coaches, he's coached for a lot of times, and he really likes to get involved with the students, make sure they understand things, and really teach them about the law. Mark, having coached with him for many, many years, he did not use this as a platform for people to get into law, but rather to teach them to think critically. I know that's something that he's really enjoyed doing, and I think it means a lot to him as much to give back to the community. So those are a few things that I think really exemplify who Mark is as a person. I would also like to note Mark's professional accomplishments. As many of you know, Mark is an eminent domain attorney, and he's done that for many, many years in the Inland Empire and throughout the state. Mark's efforts in that regard, fully giving this all credit to Mark on this, led him and the firm to being announced the large employer of the year for the IRWA, which is the International Right-of-Way Associations, and that's directly related to Mark Easter and his efforts, and that's something that he's very proud of. He's also been recognized as the best lawyer in America for the last 2 years in the eminent domain field. And so not only does he give to the community, but he gives to the legal profession, and I think the legal profession is a lot better place with him in it than without him. I mentioned at the outset that I wanted to get into a little bit about my relationship with Mark. I lateraled into Best and Krieger 17 years ago as a baby attorney. And I got to know Mark really early on. We worked on cases together, we coached mock trial together, and a friendship formed. He became a mentor to me in my professional life. He taught me how to be civil with people. He taught me not only the practice of law, but how to interact with people and how to carry yourself in this community. Riverside is a small community, and he knows everyone, and he really taught you how to be a good person. And so I really cherished that. And over the years, as I started to work more with Mark, I really started to understand it. I started to understand my place in the legal community, understand my place in the community itself. And a lot of that is because of what Mark told me and what Mark taught me. And so I do want to take this opportunity to actually say thank you to that gentleman, because I can guarantee you I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for Mark Easter. He cares about the community. It's a better community with him in it. As we all know, Mark has some quirks. In our office, he's known as a ranter. You get him going on a topic, and he'll go. And we've taken this to a level of dissecting his rants and really tried to figure out where you're at in a rant. When I was a baby attorney, he'd walk into my office at times and he'd say, we need to do X, Y, and Z on this case. And you never knew if you were in for a 5-minute conversation or a 35-minute conversation. But we started to figure out the trigger. And if Mark came into your office and he said, we need to review X, Y, and Z, he'd say something like, it's like, and then he'd give an example. So you knew when he said the words, it's like, that you should sit down, get comfortable, and hang tight. You were going to be there for a while. Because he couldn't give you one example. He had to give you at least 3, if not 4. So then we started to dissect what those examples were. He always started off with a G-rated example. Something very innocent, something very nonchalant. He then ratcheted up. He'd give you either a PG or PG-13. He then went to an R-rated. And if you were lucky, you got the NC-17 version. And it was like clockwork, and he was there and he did it. And we pointed this out to him, and he had fun with it. And every once in a while, he'd come in and he'd say, it's like, and he'd jump right to the NC-17 version. And actually, we're more grateful for that because you thought, great, that probably cut out about 25 minutes of this rant. So, but I really cherish my time with Mark. I think that he's offered his time to me. He's offered his time to a number of people in our firm. He's offered his time to a number of people in the community. I really want to thank him. Mark's also allowed me into his family as well. And I've, over the years, gotten to know his lovely daughter, Evan Ray Easter. And for those of you who don't know Evan Ray, she's a wonderful human being. And it really shows what kind of father Mark is. And so he's very beloved in the firm, very beloved in the legal profession, and very beloved in his community. And it is my absolute 110% pleasure to be able to stand here today and introduce you to Mark Easter.